Hey guys, what's up? Hope everybody's having a great weekend. Basically today what we're doing is we're going to be powder coating the diff cover. I'm going to give you a little look under here as to just how bad my diff looks now. The truck's like a 2003, so it's got a little bit of age on it, so I figured I'd show it a little bit of love and also walk you through like a step-step guide on how to do like powder coat at home for next to nothing. More or less, I was quoted $200 to do a power steering pump on the Skyline. I was like, bro, that's a lot. And then it had to be disassembled and everything. So I broke over, hopped online, bought me a powder coat gun, kind of messed around and learned the ins and outs on how to actually use it. So we're gonna actually run you through. I'm just gonna be using a junk oven that I picked up from a buddy at work, and I'm gonna do my best to try to show you how you can actually do powder coating at home. Just as long as you have, a powder coat gun, powder, and a designated oven. You don't want to be doing this in your kitchen oven or anything. So yeah, take a look at this diff cover and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Alright guys, so here's the diff cover. Alright guys, so just got the cover off. We're about to blast it. I'm gonna kind of cheat here. I said you only need an oven, powder coat gun, and powder. You need some method of cleaning it. I'm lucky to have a vapor hone that I was able to purchase. You can get by using a wire wheel or just sanding the part. Just make sure to degrease the part a lot before you start shooting your powder. So I'm gonna run through, do the vapor hone, and I'll get back to you. Say goodbye to the nasty part. We're about to blast this guy. Alright guys, so we just got the part blasted. I'm going to give you a look at it real quick, just show you what I've got going on. This is the part here. Looks really good, nice and blasted. Ready for some powder. So, biggest thing to do is obviously prepping your part, but in the application process, you do want to make sure that you go ahead and try to drain out any water in your compressor, and then also have a dryer, a little disposable dryer on your powder coat gun, so that will trap any moisture, because moisture is going to act really strange and it will almost clump up the powder. It's just going to make for a bad day. You don't want that. Drain off the bottom, your water reservoir on your tank, and then have a dryer on it. So we did have some water in there. That's just going to make it easier on that dryer. It is a disposable dryer, so you don't want to go ahead and fill it up with water, because you'll just have to end up throwing it away. So it'll prolong the life of that guy. So let me get a setup over here. I'm gonna hook into air supply. I'm gonna run you through that, and we're gonna shoot some powder. All right, guys. All right, guys. One of the biggest things that you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to degrease it. And personally, I found that nail polish remover works really well. Doesn't have to be this brand, but just 100% acetone really knocks down on the grease on the part. Just take you some, throw it on a paper towel. Try your best not to touch the part. You're gonna have some issues if you do. Alright guys, so what you want to do, you want to ground straight to the part, because if you don't ground straight to the part, you're gonna be trying to fight. More or less, it's ionizing the powder and it's attracting to your ground clamp. Whatever your ground clamp's on is going to be what the powder is attracted to, because obviously it's an extension of the ground clamp. So what you're going to run into that I found out, and this is through trial and error, so your oven racks, all right? So as you powder coat with time, you're going to build up powder coat on those racks. And you can wire wheel them and whatnot, but you're never going to get as good of a ground as if you ground straight to the actual part that you're trying to powder coat. And that's just a big thing that I've learned, and now I've ran with it, and I've had tremendous success and grounding straight to the part. Whereas before I was cleaning my racks with a Zis wheel and a grinding disc, and that works, but I've noticed that I was getting a lot of orange peel, and that was just really odd. So for whatever reason, I ended up grounding straight to the part, and that did away with a lot of the orange peel. So just something to keep in mind. Also, you want to remove any plastics that you have in there, whether it's silicone. Silicone is going to repel all of your powder. Oils will repel the powder. That's going with hand oils and obviously engine oils or transmission oils or anything along those natures. Oils obviously are not going to attract it. So more or less what we're going to do, we're going to shoot the powder and we're going to bake it. It's going to be 400 degrees, and once the thing is called runoff. So more or less as soon as it turns glossy all over it, you're going to hit the timer and you're going to run about 20 minutes, give or take. Some powders have different recommendations and instructions that you're going to have to follow, but by and large, once you get your runoff, it's going to be 20 minutes. Now, if you're stacking powders, for example, say I wanted to do this in something that would look anodized and I want to hit it with chrome, obviously that's going to be a little different because your initial coat of the chrome, you don't want to get so hot that you start to burn it off. But you have to basically hot flock, and by what hot flocking is the parts up to temp, and more or less the powders are starting to melt. So the parts at a temperature in which your powders are starting to melt as soon as it comes in contact with it. So that's called hot flocking, if that makes sense. And if there's enough demand, we'll go into a different video on that. We're starting to ground straight to the part, and we're about to start spraying our powder, so you guys stay tuned. Alright guys, so I got my ground clamp hooked in. I'm gonna have to steal 120 volt power because that's what is gonna power our box. What I'm shooting with is our Eastwood hot coat, the dual power. It was cheap. Like I said, I was quoted $200 to do a power steering pump, and it had to be disassembled, so I got this gun for I think less than that. So we're just gonna rock and roll with that. I did do a little bit of modifications. Basically this powers up the starts the process for, I guess, ionization is what it would be called. I just took some goon tape and taped it to that guy, so I can do it one-handed. Took my cords and zip tied them all together, so I got a one-hand deal going on, and I just personally feel that is more ideal than having this two-handed mess going on. So that's just my personal take on it. You guys are more than welcome to come up with your own setup. We got an air dryer, obviously the nipple for hooking into the air line, and our regulator. I'm gonna show you what I'm set at. So hooking in on the air supply here, you got 20 here. So more or less what we're gonna show you is operating power, actual air pressure operation is right around 7 psi. Obviously each gun is gonna have a different recommendation, and just go with that. It's gonna really be trial and error, see what you can do with it and adjust accordingly. It's not really a scientific process, but you're gonna want a mask so you don't breathe in obviously the powder. It's obviously not something that you're gonna want in your lungs, so go ahead and throw you a mask on, and we'll get on to this next stage, guys. Like it's a quick process once you get it figured out. I know I'm kind of out of frame, but just deal with me. This wasn't really a planned video, so I don't have much time to really allocate to it. So yeah, guys, so we're gonna get it all cleaned up, do a final wipe down, and then we're gonna shoot powder at it, guys. But I am gonna get my mask on, so you just follow the process as I go through. I'm not gonna be able to talk very much with my mask on, but we'll go from there.
So more or less this is our ground. By activating that, it's going to ionize the gun, and it's going to attract it to the ground.
So the cool thing about the powder coating is you're applying it dry. So if you have an issue, then you can always take shop air and blow it off. Just one thing to keep in mind whenever you're blowing it off, if you have an oiler in line with your shop supply or whatever airline you got going on for like air tools and whatnot, you're not gonna want that oil in there, so you may have to re-wipe it down. But you can blow it off and just take you some acetone and wipe it down and go from there. Alright guys, so we just hit 400 degrees on our oven. Now it's time to throw our part in and get the magic happening. Alright guys, so we're gonna take glances at this. I'll show you on the camera. We're just looking for that thing to turn glossy, kind of like the top of this guy. So once it gets glossy, we'll set our timer for 20 minutes, and then we'll know that we're fully cured and we can pull the part out and let it start cooling down. Alright guys, so it's been about 5 minutes. We're gonna check on the part just to see if we got that initial runoff going. It also helps that we were already at 400 degrees with the oven when we stuck our part in, so let's look at it now and see what we got. Alright guys, I don't know if you can see that, but we got the gloss that we're looking for, so we're gonna set our timer for 20 minutes. And as soon as that gets done, I'll touch base with you again. How sick is that, guys? How sick is that? We got one little spot right there, but guys, for at home job, can't beat that, guys.